With the popularity of the first season of The Mandalorian, the Razorcrest quickly became a fan favourite ship design, which would of course come with the perk of plot armour similar to the indestructible Millennium Falcon. Anyways, fans loved it, and by God that meant Lego was going to produce it. Welcome back to The Order, where we talk about all things awesome and collectible. Today we're going to take a look at what may well be the world's cheapest Lego-style Razorcrest ship, coming in at just £15. We'll do a quick build, take a look at the completed ship to see whether it gives you bang for your buck, and finally we'll compare it to the official Lego Razorcrest. If you enjoy this video, it would be amazing if you could drop a like and subscribe.
Help a veteran get a warm meal.
Let's get in! Lego have been very good to Star Wars fans, and they've actually given us at least 3 versions of the Razorcrest that I know of. The itty bitty little kid version with Ride-Along Mando, which comes in at 96 pieces and around £15. The mainstream design under set 75292, which comes in at £119.99 and 1,023 pieces. And then lastly, Lego gave us the monstrous UCS version, which comes in as set 75331 with a whopping 6,187 pieces and an eye-watering price of £519.99. All that's fine and good, but unless you're a serious Lego collector, UCS models and even potentially the mainstream retail design could be out of your budget. Enter the Brick by Brick Chrome Bricks Attack Vessel from B&M. This thing enters the price wars at just £15. Taking a look at the box design, it isn't bad, minimalistic, but it shows you what you're going to get. It confirms the number of pieces, and also that this will be compatible with leading brands, i.e. Lego. Let's get this built! Going purely off the number of pieces, which is 364, this is coming in probably about a third of the number that you get with the mainstream Lego design, so I think it's fair to assume that the final build size will also be about a third of the size. But we'll take a look at that in a bit. In terms of the build quality, sometimes you can have these Lego alternative brands which provide subpar bricks which either don't lock together because they're too tight or they're too loose, and you run the risk of having to superglue some of these things. Happily, with this, certainly from the one I bought anyway, I can report that it is actually pretty sturdy, and the bricks as a whole for me seem to be behaving and locking in nicely. I did have a couple of moments where the instructions weren't particularly clear, and there were some very, very similar parts with tiny, tiny differences, and I couldn't tell that from the instructions, which meant that I completed whole swathes of this thing and then had to go back, take it apart, redo some of the build bits, so what probably should have been a very quick build took me about 2 hours. But I'm also pretty terrible at Lego. That's why I'm not allowed to build it. Like I said, I think it's probably a me issue rather than anything to do with the set. But again, you're not going to get the most detailed instructions with a set like this. But for the avid Lego builders, you probably don't need it. And if I could do it, you can do it. One thing I do really like from this set is the chrome blocks. I think they're a really nice idea and they help to distinguish this set. I think if this was made with dull grey blocks, it would be far less appealing. And I think when you can see the final product, you're probably going to agree with me on this. And there you have it, the completed build. And I have to say, for £15, this is an absolute steal. A little bit of a loose brick there, so that's what I was talking about. So this has fallen off every time I've picked this up. It goes in okay, and it seems like it's not coming off there, but for some reason when you put the weight on, it pops right off. This is a very faithful rendition of the Razorcrest, I think. It feels like quite a sturdy build in the main. You know, you've got some bits, the struts on the feet, they pop off quite happily. But overall, feels sturdy in the hand. I mean, I'm not going to go throwing it, but if you wanted to have this on display, I don't think you're going to have any problems whatsoever. There is a bit of an issue, so the struts is one, and then these bits, these front bits on the engine, so you can see that it's got a little bit of wobble. That's not going to take much for this to ping off. So I mean, if you were going to build this and keep it on display, you might want to glue some of these bits together, but to be honest, if you're not going to touch it and play around with it, you're going to be okay. The ship itself is great, and you see what I mean here about these chrome hull plating bits that they've added in, which actually I think look better as a finalized piece than the Lego pieces do on the official mainstream release. You've got some standard grey plates on the bottom, they're just dull and grey, and you've got the chrome plates for everything else. And it just works, it works really, really well. So in terms of the features, at the back here, you've got this access door, so again, a nice little feature. I think, we'll try in a second, but I think you could get a figure on this, whether you could close this with the figure, because in terms of the space inside the ship is fairly non-existent. You could probably lie one down, actually. We'll give it a go. Got these flaps over here, and I think these are meant to be the side doors. You're definitely not going to get anybody in there, so that's a bit of a shame, but still, nice little touch. The cockpit does open, but only that far, and you're not getting, maybe Grogu, you can get Grogu in there, but yeah, you know, considering you can't get anyone in there, for me, that was a wasted touch. You didn't need that. But anyway, you know, in terms of the rest of it, £15. What an absolute steal. Got the flaps here that move, which is absolutely right. Just to give you an idea, here we've got a little Mando, and he looks perfectly fine. Like, yeah, you know, in the series, the Razorcrest is bigger, but you could have this on display and nobody would assume that he's not going to fit in that. You could have this over here and have him sort of popping out over here, or maybe actually little Grogu. Oh god, it's like a slip and slide. You get the gist. I'm sure you could work out a way to get Mando like he's popping out of there. But again, that's sort of, it's okay. If you're not looking for screen accurate sizing and stuff like that, as a display piece, you could happily have these guys in a little display cabinet like that, and everybody's going to know exactly what this ship is. Overall though, it's great. I've got nothing really bad to say about this. As a display piece, on a budget, 100% works. This thing looks great. The next question really is, how does it stack up against the genuine article? You can put figures inside this one. It's got a full interior inside the mainstream one. I'm not in any way saying that these things are comparable and that they're on par. It's not. You know, comparing the budget one to the Lego line would be like comparing a Ferrari and a Prius. I think it's fair to say that this is a phenomenal little bit of Lego for any Mandalorian fan. So, yeah, with all that said, B&M absolutely smashed it.